Welcome to the Ask Weldon Show, episode 87. You may have noticed this looks very similar to episode 86 because I'm recording it in the same place with the same clothes 5 minutes after I recorded the previous one. So apologies, I'm not trying to fake you and pretend that I'm doing this on different days. It's just that I figure I want to make shorter shows, and I have been lax over the last few weeks. I've been so busy, so I wanted to try to catch up. All right, so let's get into the first question. First question comes from Ryan Shinpusser. RAIANSHINPUSOR. Sorry if I pronounced that so badly. And they ask, listening to a podcasting game improves my play but has diminishing returns. How can I have consistently good play without it? Hashtag AskWeldon. Remember, use hashtag AskWeldon to get a question on the show. So the question is basically like, when I do something, it improves my play, but then like the more I do it, it doesn't improve my play. So if I listen to 2 podcasts at the same time, it doesn't improve my play twice as much. And if I listen to my podcast, 3 podcasts at the same time, or like it works the first game but not the second game, there's not as much the third game. So first I'll talk about the general idea. The general principle is that like when you do something over and over again, it has an impact the first time and diminishing returns the second, third time. That's how the brain works. Sorry. That's it. This is just how the brain works. So, example, I was training a team. We were training at the Red Bull Training Academy, or training like performance stage, because it felt like playing at the LCS. We used that to increase the intensity of the training. And then it worked at first, and then as we continued to train there, the effect diminished because they were used to training there, and it stopped working. It stopped feeling like a stage. That's just what happens. So the way that you do that is you spread it out, and you do it surprise. So sometimes you do it when you have a really important game, you just turn it on the podcast. Other times you turn it off. And you have to like have it off more than you have it on for the on part to work. Otherwise, you're going to have it on all the time, and then when you turn it off, you're going to have more focus because something's going to be different or something. So yeah. How can you have consistently, now the second question, how do you be consistent without it? So consistency is based on like actually just how good you are and not on your focus. So what you're doing is you're saying, I'm using a hack to focus harder so that I can play better. What you're really doing is when you aren't using your hack to focus harder, you're making more mistakes. But really, it's just like your performance has highs and lows, and you're looking at the lows and you're wanting the highs to be all the time, but they're not. Consistency is the average of your lows and your highs. So you want to like make fewer mistakes, but you also want to be better at the game. You need to be able to focus with no matter what the environment is, whether you have like a distracting environment or a quiet environment or whatever. And that is a skill. It's something you can train. So just train yourself to focus. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Obviously, the best way is my program, the Mac program. If you go to mindgames.gg/Mac, it's a 47-episode training program about mindfulness, acceptance, commitment, which is about focusing no matter what. You can go to Tara Brock's website. You can go to headspace.com and find different ways of doing mindfulness for focusing for tasks. You can simply concentrate. You can say like, okay, this thing is distracting, I'm going to focus. This thing is distracting, I'm going to focus. And you can just try to amp yourself up and concentrate. You can do breath activities. There's like this Indian or native thing about power pose. You can do power posing. You can do all sorts of weird other hacks besides the podcast hack, or you can do music hacks where you try to increase your focus with that. I think I'm not a huge fan of focus hacks. I prefer to just actually train my focus muscle. You could say it's not really a muscle, but I like to train my focus muscle using mindfulness, which is weightlifting for the brain, and that's how I go about it. Okay, next question is from, sorry, your name got cut off just a second here. Hasagi to my heart on Twitter, and they ask, how can I get over fear of ranked solo queue? I'm currently in gold 4, and I feel like I could go far, but I can't press start. This is a good one because it was hard for me at first. And I want you to be aware that it has to do with just exposure, right? You're not exposed as much to ranked, so it has a greater impact on you. So let's say that you play a lot of normals and then you play some ranked, and ranked makes you stressed and and because it's performance, which, by the way, isn't a bad thing. You probably played better and worse, but mostly you play more activated when you're performing. Performance is a skill, so it's just different from training. Okay, but then if you just only played ranked, like the pros do, they only play ranked, then it doesn't feel like anything anymore. It just feels like a normal game, and then LCS feels like performance, and that's when they get stressed out. They feel the same thing on stage that you feel in ranked. So what I would recommend is what I did, which is just make a rule. Only ranked, nothing else. Can never play anything else except ranked. And people are like, oh, but my rating will tank when I'm having a bad day. Well, I'm sorry, but your bad days and your good days are the same you. You are your bad days. You are your bad days. So your rank should reflect who you are. And if it drops, I'm sorry. I apologize. But that's who you are. Your rank dropped. So your ability to accept that will mature you and strengthen you. And so I just recommend like only playing ranked and just dealing with the consequences of that. And eventually you won't care about ranked in terms of the like pressure moment anymore. It will just be a game like any other game because you only play ranked. And then you will have to experiment in ranked and you'll have to understand ranked and you'll have to like, oh, when I pick a new champion, how do I not tank my rating? Okay, well, you have to understand the principles of the game outside of the champion in order to win a game with a new champion. So you'll start learning those. Like there's a lot of good reasons to kind of just like force yourself to only play ranked. So that's what I recommend. Okay, next question is from Peak Edgek 1857. Peakejk 1857. And they ask, oh, never mind. That's just a retweet. Okay. Sorry, Peak Edgek. Sean DNH Esports asks, Sean SHAWN, not you, SHAWN DNH Esports. How can I learn to be a better, more self-aware person? I want to be the best person I can be faster. Thanks. Okay. Faster is easy. You just focus more on becoming more self-aware and being a better person all the time. And if it's the only thing that you work on, then you'll do it faster than if it's like a part-time gig. How can you learn to be a better, more self-aware person? This is a bad question for me because I was really slow at it. I think that it wasn't until like 28 that I realized that I didn't have any self-awareness at all and started working on it. So I'm like way down the chain in terms of that. But I guess some of the things I did was I started doing mindfulness because you're forced to examine yourself and your life and accept it. You're just like, it's just stark black and white reality. This is who you are based on the actions that you choose and the things that you think and the things that you do. And that is very humbling and maturing, I would say. The second thing is it's helpful to find people that know that you like them no matter what and who can give you feedback of the negative style or the honest style. So if you can find people who you can honestly ask, do you think this is good or bad? What do you think I'm good at this? Do you think I'm bad at this? What do you think my skills are and my handicaps? And they can honestly answer you and tell you you're just not very good at this and you're probably not going to be. It's probably not worth it at this point. And here's where I see you shine. If you can find that person and talk to them regularly, in like a 6-month or 3-month advice window, or if it's somebody who's really significant to you, the key is it has to be somebody who knows you're not going to lash out at them if they say something bad to you, and who knows that like they're hurting you, but that you can take it or that you want to be hurt, that kind of thing. So, and that's really tough, but that's fast. It's fast. Fast way to do it. Okay. Fourth question. Yes, fourth question is from Zwa6132, ZWA6132, and they ask, how do you improve your strengths? That's kind of a vague and ambiguous, like, general question. You improve your strengths by improving them and not improving them. How do you improve your strengths? Let's assume we're talking about esport. Let's assume we're talking about League of Legends. Let's assume we're talking about a game. So let's say we're talking about Counter-Strike or League of Legends and you're in the game and you want to improve the thing you're good at. Let's say you're an AWPer or you're a, assassin player. You just aim for perfection at that one thing. So when I was an AWPer in Counter-Strike 1.6, I only played long distance, and I only played with Scout and Deagle and AWP. And I thought that AWP was a handicap because it was so powerful. So what I did was I used Scout, but I didn't count I used it like an AWP. So I learned the reload speed of the AWP, and I didn't shoot, even though the Scout reloads faster. I didn't shoot when it was ready. I waited till the AWP reload time was done, and then I treated the recoil in a similar way. So I didn't treat the recoil of the Scout like the recoil of the Scout. I was training for the AWP, but I was using the Scout because you can't kill somebody unless you hit them in the right spot. So it improved my aim and my snap. And then I played probably 50-50 that. And then I would also, I took off the crosshairs and I put an actual X in the middle of my screen, and I used that so that I could no-scope. And I just aimed for perfection in every single thing that I was doing in the game. After a game, I would watch my play on video, and I would just criticize everything that I did and try to figure out, how could I have done that better? And that is the one common thread that I've seen in people and how they improve their strengths, is that lots and lots and lots of analysis, aiming for perfection, not accepting anything at all as good enough, and striving, lots of review. I think that you need the mirror and the model. So you need a way of looking at your play, and then you also need a model for what even better play looks like. So if you can find those two things, you will be good. And that is a retweet of an original question by Dalton Dog, DAULTONDOG. So it may be a repeat on the show. Sorry, dude. Okay, last question from DHOKSC. Docs. How important is it for teams to engage in non-game related activities? Depends on the team and the state of the team. I would say some days it's super important, some days it's not important at all. It has zero impact. It can have zero impact on performance, and it can have 100% impact on performance. It depends completely on what's going on in the team, what stage you are in the team building process, what point you are in the season, and all this stuff. So yeah, it matters either a lot or nothing. I don't know how to answer that. How important is it? Yeah. If you don't do it when you need to do it, your team will dissolve into a cesspool of liquid and run out through the gutter into the sewer. If you do it when you don't need to do it, you will simply waste time, which time is a really important thing in elite sport, because time spent doing something else is time not spent training or getting better. So yeah, that's my answer for that. All right, that's the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Ask Weldon, episode 87. And be sure to check out my MAC program, MAC, Mindfulness, Acceptance, Commitment, mindgames.gg/MAC. 47 episodes, mindfulness, acceptance, commitment. And then 5-minute journal, which is a tool that I use with me and with teams that I work with, and my reading list, or my list, Weldon's list, where I'm just I send out not only my top recommendations for books and tools and apps, but also any new stuff that I uncover during the week on the web, just find. Hey guys, I just want to encourage you to follow me on Snapchat so you can keep track of all of the cool adventures that I have in places like Korea, where we're training right now, and so that you can ask me questions and follow along with kind of behind the scenes of high performance coaching.